So it's interesting. So the process for this Love Notes mixtape was like, you know, I'd already had finished a project that was 17 songs. I did a deal with the label, who I'm not with anymore. Good relationship, still cool, but we just went our separate ways. We dropped Motherland Bounce together, and it was just sort of like, we were just, it's like a, marriage. We're growing in two different directions or whatever. So we realized that, okay, so on these things we're going to hold together. But for the, I went off to go do my own thing. So as soon as I had inked that deal, I didn't even have Motherland, none of those songs yet. I had like 2 or 3 songs, which wasn't even a part of those 17 songs. I went back home, and within 2 months, I had 17 songs. I came back, was like, man, listen, all right, I got the album ready, and Motherland Bounce was a part of that project or whatever. So we ended up later on releasing that. It took a while after that, but I was just sitting for a while, and I was just like, man, I ain't recording no music or nothing. So I went back into the studio, and I'm telling you, like within a month and a half, just about all these songs came out. You know what I'm saying? Every single song on that Love Notes. And by that time I taken meetings. By the time Motherland Bouncer came out, I had took some meetings with some labels. I went to Warner, I went to couple Universal, I went to Republic, I went to a few different people, whatever. And I think by that time I only had Win, and everybody like was eyeing that record, was like, wow, that record's like super dope. So and I had a few more, man, and I just like came back, and I was just like, then I started recording again, and I was just sitting around. I was like, man, hold on, I got this project here. We're not gonna keep not releasing music. That's what's not gonna happen, And I felt very strongly about this Love Notes record, because I was like, man, I went to the studio with fire, like, and started banging these out. Some people have an opposite mindset. They're just like, oh, the longer this took for me to finish, the more and more they fall in love with it. But sometimes you got to recognize that, like, when fire's pouring out, that's a special project, So we put it together, and we're just like, listen, let's take these 11. I think it was actually 12 when we took off, because we're going to use for a different situation. But and we was like, man, let's put this music out and get it out to the people. Another thing is also crossing back into the mainstream hip hop world after being out for a while. It's like people haven't really heard me. I've been sort of like catering to a different crowd with more like EDM type of stuff or whatever. But so it was sort of like important for me, for people to really know, like, no, he's back, and it's serious. You know what I mean? Right. I think that's the thing. Like, it's like, that's sort of my idea with the whole thing, is like, you can't box me in. And so all the different elements of music, you know what I'm saying? EDM, rock. I love classical music, obviously I'm Jewish. I listen to a lot of Jewish music, Yiddish music, very, very powerful music. It's like my connection even to Yiddish music is sort of like satisfies that, like, that old black gospel type of thing, because where people just crying from their heart, you know what I mean? Something that just hits that spot for you. So I'm taking from so many different sounds. Like, there was a band, Fleet Foxes from Seattle, I used to listen to, like alternative band or whatever. I just love music. I love music. So I really don't like being put in a box. And so sometimes, I need to jump out just to know I got that freedom. You know what I mean? As a creative. And it helps influence and bring stuff back for me. It helps you find yourself, because when I was invested in doing some EDM records, that was like, really, it's an energy. And the production, like you said, is just like, that's doing things to you. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the same thing that's happening in hip hop. It's just hitting a different space. But sometimes if you put these two things together, and then you grab this from over there and you grab this from over there, people just think like, man, but that's how you become a game changer. You know what I mean? That's how you get the Kanye's of the world. That's how you get the Drakes of the world. Drake also too. Post Malone, same type of thing. Like, these guys, he's like blending worlds that people not even really paying attention that he's blending these worlds, but it's because he's well versed in the arts of the music. You understand what I'm saying? And able to put these things together. So I think it's very important to be able to know different genres and study them and to take from them.